Hey everyone, this is Sagar from Tulip. Today I want to talk to you about the new integration that we built within Tulip. We built a generic connector for Microsoft Dynamics 365's finance and operation ERP system. We've heard a lot from our different customers having to use that ERP system, and it's one of those ERPs that are out there that a lot of our manufacturing customers are using. Whether it's in the discrete operations or batch operations or different assembly operations or what have you. So we've gone ahead and built this generic connector that you can get that imported onto your instance and leverage the different connector functions that this connector has. This is I'll quickly demonstrate this application, which kind of goes over the end-to-end integration, so that you can eliminate the need of using paper-based work orders right on the shop floor, and operators can focus on the app, as you can bring in all your backend information from the ERP system right within Tulip. Whether it's a list of production orders, pulling in a specific production order that an operator needs to work on, updating the status of different production orders, bringing in the formula or bill of materials for this production orders, and then also routing this production order through different stages or different operations, if that production order needs to be routed through. So I'm going to quickly walk through over all these different connector functions that we built, and then once the only requirement here is you would need to get this get this connector authenticated. You building an application on Azure Active Directory. It follows the standard OAuth 2.0 protocol. There's excellent documentation available on how to go about authenticating your connector using OAuth 2.0 on Microsoft's Azure Active Directory. But let's dive into it to just go over all the different production orders and the different functions that we built so far. So this first step here is listing all the work orders that are part of my Dynamics instance. You can see it pulls in a lot of different work orders over here. We have the option of filtering these work orders by different statuses as well. Again, this is a different connector function with passing in a different query parameter, and you can pass in how you want to filter your work order with. If I quickly show you what's in my Dynamics instance over here, you can see these are all the work orders that are available on my Dynamics instance as well. So we were able to pull in a list of work orders with different status. So this is something that I wanted to demonstrate with this connector function. And let's say we want to filter and we just want to see all the orders that are in release status. So we can do that as well. So you can see how all the statuses, are from the list of production orders that were returned by Microsoft, have been filtered by release. We can select one work order right here from Tulip and get specific details of this production order. And you can see, the work order number, the work order name. We're building polypropylene pellets. The current work order status being released. The item number that we're producing, the inventory lot ID that we have over here, the scheduled start, the scheduled end date, and the amount of quantity that we need to produce from here. And then, different actions that you can take right within Tulip. Whether you want to start your work order, update the status of the work order, consuming different materials of the work order, route the work order through different phases, different operations, and then finally going ahead and closing the work order. If I dive here into Dynamics, I just want to quickly show you, these are the different fields that we're able to pull in. Again, Dynamics returns a lot of different fields, so it really comes down to what your use case is and what you're trying to establish with Tulip. And you can easily, bring in a lot of different fields within Tulip. Once you have this standard connector function, you can edit it as per your use case and bring those fields in, and you can display those within a Tulip application. So, to begin with, if I want to start my work order, update my work order status, we need to send a started up command, and just by updating it, it should go ahead and update my work order. So you can see how the work order status was changed from release to started up. This sends, this is a bi-directional communication, back and forth communication with Microsoft Dynamics and Tulip. So we're sending an information back to Dynamics and starting the work order right from Tulip itself. And if you go here and see, we should see that the status changed in Dynamics as well. Now the status is sorted. The remain status is route consumption. So right now, we're at the material consumption step. The status that is left is the route consumption, and that's where we're going to be routing a work order through different stages based on all the operations that it has to go through. So now, real quick on consuming the material, this pulls in the bill of materials that are part of this production order. You can see the different materials, the name, polypropylene, rubber, talc, additive, pigments, the different quantities of each of these materials, the UOM of each of these materials, and then finally inventory lot IDs. So as we start consuming these materials, right, and the production order is started, the inventory back in Dynamics gets updated on its own. And the Dynamics takes care of it, that this amount of material has been consumed for this work order, and once it closes, all the inventory has been taken care of in the backend with Dynamics. So we go ahead and we consume this material. You can consume it. You can see a feedback to the operator that this material has been consumed. If I try to consume the same material which has already been consumed, I'm going to get a message saying the material is already consumed. So that's a good validation over there for the operator. And then, if this is more of a backflush for this specific material, you can send that as a backflush back to Dynamics, and it updates that. And again, I'm going to just quickly consume all these different materials so that I can walk you over through the routing step that we have in place as well, that you can do right from Tulip. And then finally updating my last material, or consuming my last material here, which is pigment, and you can see the list of materials that have been consumed already. And then finally, the last one is done, and then we've consumed it. And then now we are back to our main menu here, right? So the work order is started, the material step is consumed, and now we're left with routing the steps. So you can see that this operation needs to go through different operations, whether it's cutting, drying, mixing, and filling. There are operation numbers that are provided with that kind of map to each of these different operation names and these operation priorities. These are important parameters because these are used in your connector function as well. Once you import this connector onto your instance, you can see how these parameters are being used on the back end. But if I start with my cutting operation, so right now, we've consumed the materials. We haven't really started any operation, so we're going to be starting with cutting. And I can start and route to the cutting step over here, and you can see right now the operation number to be routed. There is no active operation number, active operation name. Since we're trying to route to 10, it already indicates which would be the next one that we have to route to. So if I route to, you see that operation successfully routed, and now we're at active operation number 10, which is cutting. And now if you want to route it to drawing, we can do that. And you'll see that, now just a quick feedback that, the work order is being routed to cutting. After it's completed at cutting, it's been routed to drawing, and now at the current stage is drawing. And now if you want to move ahead and route it to the next operation, because you can see the next operation is 30, which kind of maps up with the dry mixing operation, you can go ahead and route it. And now you can see the operation number to be routed is 30. The active operation is drawing. The next one after 30 comes on is filling. We can route that right from Tulip itself. And now finally, now we're at an active operation, which is at 30. The operation name is dry mixing, and then finally, the remaining operation that we have to route our work order to is filling. You can think of this as different stations on your shop floor where the work order needs to be routed. So once a process at a specific station is completed, you can route that work order, complete a specific app, and then the work order can automatically be routed to the next station, and the operator can be imitated, in terms of starting their work on that specific station. So this could either be a continuous process in parallel, or it could be in a batch process where one station is completed and you can have the work order routed to the next one. And finally, routing my operations. So now all the operations are routed. You can see right now it's at the last phase, and once this process is completed, we can go back and close the work order. So you can see all these three stages are completed within Tulip. Now I'm gonna go ahead and finally close my production order over here, and it should update. So we're looking at 108, and you can see that this is completed. Earlier, this was at release status. If I go back to my dynamics over here, it should update here, and you can see that the status is ended. So really quickly, wanted to demonstrate the capabilities, the end-to-end integration that we demonstrated with Dynamics. I just wanted to show you guys. If you guys are interested, this connector will be available in library soon, and you can have it imported onto your instance. Thanks.